Good morning to all. I'm Sumitra, working as an associate professor in R&D Engineering College. In my last video, I explained about how the organization is organizing is practiced in an organization in order to attain the objectives or the goals. And now in this video, I'm going to explain about the recruitment process that is taking place in an organization. And talking about recruitment, how the selection is done and how the recruitment process is done, everything. So regarding the recruitment process, we need to do two types of analysis. One is the job analysis. First one, the components which are required for doing the job analysis is that we need to know what is the job description and also what the job is getting related to. So the job description means it mainly focuses on the nature of the job, that is, what is the objective of the job and how the work need to be performed and what are the skills needed to perform that job and what are the responsibilities required and how the relationship of the job to the other job is getting uh, connected and what about the working conditions required for taking care of the job. And coming to the job specification, so in order to perform the recruitment process, we need to do two analysis regarding job description and job specification. Job description the skills and education experience needed to perform the job. So the source of information which are provided or that are critical to recruitment and external recruitment. Familiarity with the candidate, the organization, or procedures and culture will vary. Whereas in case of external, it is just of influx of new ideas. And in case of internal, the available information, the observation by the superiors facilitates the easiest selection. But whereas in case of external, the candidates who are recruited from the competitors provided the valuable information. So next comes the selection. So most of the people have a thought that recruitment and selections are one and the same, but there exists a wide difference between the two things. For example, if a company is having a job vacancy, they'll be advertising. There exists a recruitment process in an organization for this post. So recruitment means finding a stream of people who will be suitable for the job based on the eligibility criteria. So if there is a vacancy existing in a department or in an organization, they'll be advertising it through through any media stating that so and so vacancy of job is available. In order to apply for the same, the criteria eligibility criteria is the person should possess this qualification and this much of experience, like that. So recruitment is nothing but finding a stream of people or a group of people who what to say, who will be fitting for the job. And then selection is the one which is there to pick one from the group of people or pick an individual from the group who will be best suited for taking the job. So selection is coming under most of the external recruitment process only. So this is the process of picking an individual who have the relevant qualification to fill the job, or otherwise, it refers to the steps involved in choosing people who have the right qualification to fill a current or the future job opening. So, usually, managers and the supervisors will be ultimately responsible for the hiring of the individuals, but role of the HR, that is human resource management HR team, is to define and guide the managers in this process. So similar to the recruitment process, the selection process is also expensive. The time involved in the hiring process to review the resumes, weight the applications, and interview the best candidates uh, will take some time. At the same time, it is the costliest process also. Uh, in addition to that, there are cost of testing the candidates and bringing them in front of town for the interviews, for attending the interviews. So there exists a different process of selection, which consists of five different aspects. First one is the criteria development. So the first aspect of the selection is that the criteria development, that is to selection and planning the interview process, which includes the criteria development. It means determining the sources of information will be used and how these sources will be scored during the interview. So the criteria should be definitely getting related to the job analysis and the job specification, and the selection steps like a screening interview, then you'll be given with a blank of application to summarize the brief history of the employee's background, and then some aspects of the job analysis and job specification may be actual criteria. In addition to this, it may include some personality or the cultural fit, which would also be the part of the criteria development. And once the criteria have been developed, applications can be reviewed, and the people have different methods of going through the process. So, but there also exist some computer programs that can search for the keywords in the resumes and narrow down the number of resumes that must be looked at the end of the interview. So next comes the interviewing pattern. There exists different method like screening interview, selection interview. Like the screening interview or the one which cuts the cost by means of conducting the preliminary interview, thereby allowing only eligible candidates to go through the further interview process. And then selection interview is majorly done by means of oral examination, and after the HR or manager they are determined which applications meet the minimum criteria, he or she must be selected, those people to be interviewed. So most people do not have time to review 20 or 30 candidates, so the field is sometimes narrowed even further with a that is telephonic interview. And next comes the test administration. Any number of tests may be administered before a hiring decision is made. This include a psychological test or physical test, drug test, personality test, and cognitive test. And some organization also perform some reference check, credit report checks, and background checks. Once the field of the candidate has been narrowed down, the test can be administered according to their wish. And then finally comes the offer. So the last step in the selection process is to offer a position to the chosen candidate. So development of an offer through an email or a letter is sometimes a more formal part of this process, and accordingly the compensations and benefits are defined in an offer. So, during the interviewing process, it depends upon the organization. It is not necessary that all the interviewing process will also always give an accurate result. Sometimes there is a possibility of getting some errors also, like the allo effect, leniency error, projection error, stereotyping error. So, coming to the allo non effect, before the interview is taking place, the applications will be sorted out, and just by going through an application, the first sight itself, the opinion of certain person will be there in the mind. So if the photograph of that applicant is in a pleasing manner, then they will be the person who is going to interview the incumbent will be in a mindset that this person will be suitable for the job because of the pleasing personality. This is known as halo effect. It may be a good sign, but at the same time, even though if a candidate is well suitable for that job, but if it is not possessing a pleasing personality, the very first sight, a person who is looking over the photo is having some idea in his mind that he is not suitable for the job. So even after he is eligible and even after he is well qualified for the job, because of his first what to say, because of his first impression, he is not able to crack the interview. That is known as on effect. And then leniency. Coming to the leniency, so there exist certain cases where a single candidate is being interviewed by two or more person, and the interview will be the same. It may be different from one to other person. So what given some high score, the low score, definitely these two results in error. Next comes the projection. So projection is that suppose if a person is interviewing a one person, right? So there will be an expectation since they are belonging to the culture, etc. A person is interviewing it is keyboard typing. This type of error will be occurred very, for example, and even many candidates are also well suited for the receptionist job. So this is an undesirable quality of interview. And come intensive nature, there are some specialized techniques that are required. Then recruitment is done majorly through the advertisement, whereas the selection is done by means of screening of the applications. And then labor unions and gate hiring, employer recommendations, deputation, and on-campus recruitment will be examination approval by the authority, everything. So in the next class, we will be explaining how the performance management can be reviewed in case of an organization. Thank you all.